I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we break down all the goals scored in the Premier League. And today we're doing Leicester against West Ham, and it's Ruud van Nistelrooy's first game in charge of Leicester, so obviously they're going to have the new manager bounce that everybody normally gets, except for Man United that drew, but we won't talk about that. So we're going to watch this build up for this first goal, and I want you to watch this, right? So we've got a free pass out here. It's kind of contested, okay? So we've got one pass, and it's coming. You can already see this player checking into this space to receive the ball, and the right back's getting pulled out with him. For some reason, this midfielder doesn't cut this ball out. It's the right back getting completely pulled out of shape and position, which I tell you what, there's so many flaws with this West Ham team that no one seems to know what they're doing. It's just awful. So when this pass goes, we have a complete change here where this guy is now going back to cover him and he's going there. Instead of him getting across to there and him holding his shape, for some reason, this guy's decided to run, about 15 yards, where this guy could have run about 5. He get a challenge for this first ball here, and he doesn't, so he's completely and utterly out. It's just role reversal round the wrong way. Even though he's doing the right thing covering for him, he should have been pressuring this pass here in the first place, because we've just had one pass here that isn't really contested, that's not really put under pressure, to another pass here in the midfield, and this is another free pass. Now the other thing, watch what happens, because he runs away from his position, which was about here. Watch what happens next. As that ball goes into the middle here, there, oh look, he's run past the point of where he was stood in the first place. So not only has he not gone over here to challenge for this ball, he's left his zone, gone back over here, and got completely and utterly caught out. It's terrible. So we've got half a challenge, 0 challenge, ball into the middle, and we're going to have another 0 challenge. So 1, 2, and a third pass here in behind with no West Ham player able to challenge for it or in the right place, because their shape is kind of funky. You've got players tracking back for some reason that shouldn't be, players stepping forward off the back line to chase a player that the midfielder should have done, and then the midfielder completely breaking the shape by just standing still. We would have been okay, but trying to overcompensate for his teammate, and that's what makes this just shocking. So as it goes on, let's move it on a bit. Buff takes a touch. It's too far away now to make a challenge. Nobody's close enough. He's not close enough to cover him, but also look at the separation gap from these players here. So there's another player completely and utterly free. And as this ball's played, Vardy's just onside. And by the way, if anyone gets the benefit of the doubt other than the guy that I like, Nunez, Vardy's better than Nunez, because I just like Jamie Vardy. Go check out my YouTube short for that. I'm talking about FIFA players. Who's that player you always buy on FIFA because you always liked him? Doesn't matter if you sit him on the bench or gets 2 minutes. You always just pick him up and put him in your team because he's one of your favourite. Vardy's one of mine. So as this ball gets played in behind, look, it's a risky move. Look how casual this body shape is. From here, you can see that this ball's getting passed, and the reaction and the casual just body shape here shows it all for West Ham. Look, still there, still jogging. The ball's played, off he goes, and he should have been on his bike. Now, fair enough, you're hoping that guy steps up, but this goes against that continuity I'm talking about, where there's not any shape and structure and organisation. No one quite knows where to go and when not to go, hence why that midfield is going back and the right back's coming forward. They're just completely out of sync. And when you get like that, sometimes you're in real issues. And I think West Ham, even though they play some good football now and again, doesn't matter. You have to get results, because it doesn't matter how well you play over and over and week in if you don't end up getting some results. And they really needed to get something out of today's game, and they didn't. And that's why you can see players are just a little bit too lackadaisical here at the back. Wouldn't give it too much. I'd give him a bit more of a pass back here if he actually tracked the runner, if he wasn't, put a little bit more effort in, because maybe he wasn't going quite over to the middle because he wanted to hold his shape a little bit better and track the guy behind him, but he still even out sprints him to get into the box. But then Jamie Vardy does what Jamie Vardy does, takes a little touch, puts it into the bottom corner of the net box. Yeah, let's have a look at the next goal. Okay, before we get on to the next goal, though, West Ham should have scored on this. It's a header off the post, it comes back, but I want you to watch this arm here and this ball here. Now, these are the rules in my head, and I've always used this over my 20 plus years of coaching. It's longer than 20 years now. Oh my God, am I getting old? I've been doing this way too long. So, is this ball travelling towards the goal? Yes. Does it hit someone's arm? Yes. Does that arm stop the ball going towards the goal? Yes. It's a handball. That's how you need to think of it. Okay, so as we move this forward ever so slightly, watch. it stops him. Does it hit the chest and bounce up? Doesn't matter. Not important. It hits the arm and it's going at the goal. Now, normally on the field, in the field of play, you're going to go, oh, it's not a handball. Okay, fine. But it's different inside the box because it's a goal scoring opportunity. And if it's bouncing up and hitting the arm, it's deliberately stopping that ball going into the goal where he's had his arm there. I know it's a natural position here and it's still gone up. It's still a handball. This unnatural position stuff is if it's up here. You can still be a handball if it hits here in a natural position. It can still be a handball. It's still a handball. It's still stopped the ball going towards the goal. So one team has gained an advantage because it's hit someone's hand, and that's a handball. If you gain an advantage, the ball's not going towards the goal. It's a handball. People get caught up because someone had said this one thing of unnatural position over here, and then they start thinking that that's the handball rule. No, it's not. Some team has gained an advantage by hitting his hand. Leicester, so that should have been a penalty, no questions asked. Obviously isn't, because Ruud van Nistelrooy needs a win. It's like the TV script needs the new man to get a win, and so let's just get on to the next talking point, because there's another penalty I think West Ham should have got in this as well. Here we are with him flapping like a seagull, doing his little motions, not sure what he's trying to do here, completely miscontrols the ball, and it bounces up. But what does it do when it bounces up? It goes up towards, doesn't matter where his hand is. Does he gain an advantage from it hitting his hand? Yeah, he does. As the ball comes down and drops, look what happens. Oh, there he is. He catches it in between his hand and his bum. There he is. It's another handball. That's two. Yeah, but don't worry, we've got VAR to make sure all of these decisions go. Wait, I don't think it matters. They're all having a cup of tea, or they got a power cut, or it's the wrong paycheck from the wrong team this week. Goodness knows what's going on there. But I tell you what, that's shocking. 2 handballs, in my opinion. Should have been 2 penalties. But no, we digress. Let's get on to some goals and some stuff that I know about the tactical analysis of football games. Okay, so when this through ball comes in, it comes over the top right here. The shape of this West Ham defence is awful. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players that are so close and tight together in this little space here. You can see an extra 2 yards over here, and his centre-backs can actually cover a much wider area, but they're not doing it. Centre-backs aren't. That means the left and the right backs have tucked in. Everybody is so close to mark one player here. It's just terrible. It's really, really poor. Now I also want you to make a mental memory of these 2 players here. This is going to be the goal scorer. What's he going to do? I want you to think about it. Is he going to track the runner? Is he going to, what's he going to do? Have a little think about what you think this player should do and what he's actually going to do by the time we get down and we break the play down at the end. Good ball out though. I like Leicester's holding their shape quite well, making it difficult for them, giving them an out ball. Like it. Now you've got to think about this. Okay, you're trying to set up, you're on a, you're going from defense, using a transition to attack, and now you're trying to set your team up in your defensive shape. Okay. So the first thing you want to really try to do is get pressure on the ball. Okay, we've got 2 players that are still holding the hands and hugging this one guy over here. He's providing him backup, not too bad if he can get there. But the problem is he's on the wrong side of this player. He wants to be here, really. So he's on the backup side. He needs to keep running and get to about there. Why, Cash? Because basically when he cuts inside, he can step to him. If he's on this side, he can't step to him. He's coming on the wrong side of him. So he really wants to keep running while this guy is jockeying for position. He can use the extra couple of seconds to get back just a little bit more. That's what we're looking for him to do. Okay, so now where he cuts inside, don't worry. Remember that guy that I pointed out? I told you to take a little... There he is. Why is he going to the ball? All he's got to do is stay with his man there. Is there pressure on the ball? Yes. Are you going to step in and win that ball? No. Do you see a player that's completely and utterly unmarked? Yes. Now here's another problem. When you come running into pressure, what's behind you? Well, if you run from here to here, you leave space here. So as you run to there, you leave space there. Space, where's that? In the middle of the goal. Oh, look, I drew a little man. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Right, so if you're doing that, you're running out of the space, you're creating the space. So now when this ball gets played, watch what happens. He's run out of the space. It's 1, 2, 3 players have been taken out. Don't worry, these 2 defenders that were still holding hands have got no idea what they're doing and playing football. And this guy here has actually created the space for this Leicester player. By running, remember, he was behind him, 5 yards? Outran him, got there. He wasn't going to get the ball. The ball was under pressure. He couldn't really get a shot off. The other centre-back had come in and covered. This guy here. He'd come in, so if he'd stepped in a little bit more, he could have come in and helped block the shot. The only thing he had to do was track the runner and not open up the space in the middle of the field, and he did both. So now it's just, can you find the target? Dosh, bosh, bottom corner. It's one of those finishes, by the way. This is, if you ever played in the playground with your mates and stuff, this is one of those slidey bum ones when you're on the ground and you're watching it go in. But it's a good finish. Well done. Here we go again, getting completely beaten on the transition. Just a long through ball coming up through. And for some reason, West Ham thought it was great to make the striker 1v1 at the back. Actually, I had won a tournament once. Striker, I had scored the very, very similar goal to this. They were doing the similar thing. They were squeezing us high. We really couldn't get him to do anything. We knocked a long ball. Our striker took a bad first touch that turned out to be a good first touch. Why is that? Because sometimes you take a bad first touch, it's a good first touch. Let me show you how. Takes his first touch, bosh, goes straight into the space. That one's a good one. Not a bad one like my striker did. Tried to do the similar thing under control, but just knocked it into the space, ran on and knocked it into the goal. But also, look at the body shape of the defender. The defender is actually facing the wrong way. Not really trying to track the run, trying to win the ball. Doesn't do a good job in any way, shape or form. And now he just runs in and puts it into the net box. But look at the space. You know how they were all so compact a minute ago, the West Ham defenders? Now they're all so spread out. Yes, I know they're on the attack. I know that they've just lost the ball. But even still, you're always thinking in your head, what happens the second we lose the ball? How quick can we squeeze that space back up? And you can't be 1v1 in this situation when you're losing 2-0, because you're going to be 3-1 down. When you're 2-0 down, you're going to be 3-0 down before you do it. You don't throw the baby out with the bathwater just to try to get back in the game at 2-1, because you will lose. You still stick to you need to do next week, because if you play like this next week, you'll concede a goal. So what does that mean, right? So you don't just change all your tactics to just try to get a goal, because all of a sudden, all those things, when you're pushing too high up the field, you don't want to be doing that next week. You still want to have that compact defense to stop those transitions. You play like you normally would, and then you try to create something at that end. You don't just change it because you're bad. You need to fix what's going wrong. You don't make another problem by throwing more people forward, and then you have to fix that problem as well, because all your players start losing confidence and trust in you as a coach and a manager, because, well, coach, we were tight in the first half and we were too tight and it was rubbish. Now we're spread out and now it's rubbish. So you're giving mixed messages. You're pulling your team apart and pushing them together. You can't do that. You need to get some consistency to get results. And this is just a run in and a tap it in the goal. As he's running down, though, I want you to watch this. He does a little shimmy side step. So he comes down here. He actually creates because this defender can keep running and probably close the space. But watch how he stops him. Watch. Do you see that little shimmy? Dump, dump. Makes the guy hesitate. As he hesitates, he switches it to the other foot and he just puts it into the corner. Bang. Let's watch that again. Here we go. Here's his little shimmy. Dosh, right there. That's enough to stop the defender. That little second. And then he just finishes it. Well done. Good striker play there. Overall, though, midweek games, it's going to get hectic across the Christmas season, and I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football. As for the West Ham goal, a little bit too late, just like when they were playing Arsenal on the weekend. Arsenal seemed to have battered them, and then they get a little consolation goal. But it's not a bad delivery. It's a little front post run. Bit of a flick on and a knock on in there. Not much to talk about it because it's the end of the game. You're winning 3-0. Leicester are just a little bit lackadaisical. Happens quite often when you're beating a team and you just concede a goal near the end just because they kept trying and kept going, and you've just been a little bit lazy and a little bit sloppy, and that's what happened. Just like when Arsenal were playing them on the weekend, they got another little consolation goal near the end. Not much of a thing to write home about. But let's just watch that go in. Bosh, there it goes. Maybe they could have done better, Leicester, on that on the second ball there. But it's a decent little knock-in header. And then all you've got is just a tap-in. Yeah.